on my way to day 2 of Tucson Comic Con. Should be a fun day. Lots of stuff to do today, so let's just get into it and see what happens. So, day 2 of Tucson Comic Con. I got a tattoo. Wasn't planned, entirely spontaneous. I had seen a few days earlier that the Spark Project Collective was going to be there giving tattoos, and I thought that was cool, whatever, didn't really think much of it. And on Saturday, I actually stopped and sort of looked out their booth and what they had. Very first thing in the morning was technically before the con had even started. And I realized it was a non-profit where all the money from it was going to various projects related to helping kids. If you pause in that early part, it would actually say what everything they do. So it felt like, what do I have to lose? I already have like 6 tattoos, so getting another tattoo wasn't really that big of a deal. Big Star Wars fan, so R2 made sense, and it was for a good cause. So why not? Sat down, got a tattoo with Sarah. I meant to get some pictures with her, but I got caught up in it and forgot to do that. But she was really nice, really cool. She was actually cosplaying as a female Joker while she was there doing that. Yeah, just great experience, and got a tattoo for charity, essentially. So, yeah, that's what I did. First thing, day 2, was not how I expected to start the day, but still a good experience. Like I said, it's not my first. It's not that big of a deal to me. It just seemed like right place, right time. Why not? What do I have to lose? So, got R2 watching my back now. And yeah, I got that. But as far as what else I did on Saturday, I did a lot more sort of sightseeing per se. There was a lot of people there on Saturday. And yeah, there's some more cosplay. I saw some cool Star Wars cosplay while I was there. I went around and looked at a lot of Artist Alley's booths. Some of the featured artists. There was a artist, I believe her went by Sabrina Fine Art. She was painting dinosaurs for a while, like over several hours. I filmed a little bit of it. But yeah, just spent a lot of time checking out Artist Alley and then eventually getting more signatures. I did stop by my friend Vic Von S. I filmed her booth, but she wasn't there at the time. But I did get something signed by her. First thing I got her signed was this G.I. Joe Real American Hero retail incentive. She signed it down here on the bottom. Nice incentive variant. And then I got her to sign her Godzilla book, which I think is probably her most well-known variant she's worked on. It's down here in pink. Then I had her sign this out of 30 Bug Patrol down here. And then next to her booth, I stopped at it on Friday. The Anti-Hero Verse booth is his story. I had him sign it as well. So stopped by there, got all these signed. Yeah, just some local artists supporting them. After that, I walked around a bit and eventually swung by Joe Jesco's booth again. And I had 2 things signed by him. Got this Hulk signed in black, Hulk magazine, and this Punisher magazine signed in silver down here. He was just happy to see some older art of his. He sees a lot of his newer stuff, but he apparently rarely sees these older 80s, early 90s stuff. So got these signed, chatted with him for a little bit. And yeah, that was the last of the Juice stuff I got signed. I ended up swinging around Larry Wells' booth. He is the creator of Cherry Pop Tart. This is the first appearance of her right here. Had him sign it here. It's actually signed on the first page also. He insisted on doing both, and who am I to tell him no? Interesting interaction, because not only did I not pay anything at his booth, because he refused to take my money, they gave me a pin as well for free. So very interesting. Got a signature and a pin, and they didn't want any of my money. Just chatted with me for a few minutes, and yeah, got this signed. Probably gonna send this one off to CBCS, get it slabbed up, because it is the first appearance of Cherry Pop Tart. Yeah, he was actually sketching on one of these when I had got there, so he showed me that for a bit. But yeah, got that done. Next up, I stopped at Christopher Priest, his booth, and got a couple things signed by him. Chris Priest is really, really nice. The way he set up his booth, he had a chair on his side where he was sitting, and he had a chair on the opposite side. Anytime you came to see him, he had you sit down in his chair, and he had a full-blown conversation with you about what you were doing, what you were getting signed, if you were enjoying the convention. He gave you a little history about anything that you were giving to sign. And this was one of the books I had him sign, Falcon #1. He signed it in silver right there. This was his first book at Marvel. He said he wrote this book and he's been trying to break it big in Marvel ever since, even though he does have quite a long track record of stories. I actually had him sign this one too, Black Panther #2. Signed it up here. He wrote quite a bit of Black Panther stories. A lot of his ideas have been used in the MCU. So yeah, just a really, really nice guy. Most personable person at the convention, honestly. The fact that he basically has you sit down there with him and have a real talk is kind of cool. You don't see that super often. Yeah, and he was willing to talk to anybody. He was talking to some people about the movies before I showed up with some comics for him to sign. So yeah, good experience. Chris Priest, highly recommended checking him out. Yeah. Next up, I stopped at Mark Morales' booth. Pretty well-known inker. He's done just about all the High Republic books, inking them, but he's been in the industry for a long time. I had him sign 2 books for me. First one is this Evil Ernie Resurrection #4. This is actually the first series he ever worked on. Brian Pulido took him on for it, but he signed it down here. Brian Pulido actually signed this also in the eyes. Every convention I have Brian sign something, since he is the co-owner of Tucson Comic-Con. I believe he owns 75% of it now. But really cool guy. Always have him scribble on a book. And Mark Morales is great also. Again, someone who just loves talking. If you like talking to creators, this is definitely a convention for that. There's nobody who doesn't have time for you, essentially. I also had to sign this Magic. He said he was happy to see this book. He actually never got a copy of it when he worked on it. So he was just like seeing it. He didn't remember working on it at first. When I mentioned it, when he saw it, he was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So yeah, he signed it right here. So yeah, got those 2 signed by Mark Morales and this one by Brian Pulido. And probably my biggest signature of this convention, Michael Biehn was there, of Aliens, Terminator, Tombstone. Yeah, I had him sign my Aliens #1 right here. I will say he does not have a very attractive looking signature by any means, but very, very nice again. He would have conversations with you. He likes to talk. At one point, I think his handlers were trying to move him along because he was talking too much with people. But yeah, talked for a bit. He thinks Aliens is probably the best project he's ever worked on. He thinks it's probably the only project he's worked on that if you watch it today, it still holds up just as well when it first came out. I tend to agree. I do think it is his best work, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So, got him to sign that right there. This will be going back to CBCS to get slapped up again. But I believe that is all for signatures. I did do some more dollar bin diving this time around. I found a booth where it wasn't really organized at all, but the booth owner was really, really nice. He said he had picked up basically this convention from a friend that had passed away years ago, and he had like 18,000 comics. And in each convention, he brings out a select few long boxes and just puts them out there. Most of the books are $2 each if they're bag and boarded, $1 each if they're not bag and boarded, and he has like 4 or 5 that have some bigger books in them that are actually priced. I dug through the $2 and $1 books. I've since put them all in bags and boards, but not all of these were bag and boarded. I did get some footage. I'm sure I've been showing that as I've been talking, but this is what I picked up. Picked up a Transformers #2. This is from the movie limited series. I don't see the limited series for the movie super often, so I figured I'd just grab it. It was $2. I still need the 1 and the 3, but grab that. Then I also grabbed this one, Transformers 22. one of those 25th anniversary sort of frame looking covers. It is a first appearance. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but I just like the anniversary covers. Scrap that. That was also $2. I picked up this Justice Society of America #9 Power Girl cover. New Avengers #35. Got sort of the venomized Wolverine going on here on the front cover. Was a pretty hot book for a while. I think it's cooled down, but still just a great cover. And I believe it was also $2. So, yeah. Fantastic Four #11. This was a $1 book, but first appearance of, I believe it's Aisha, and it's a homage variant or homage cover. So, yeah, for $1, why not? Picked up this one as well. Infinity #10, first appearance of Thane, son of Thanos. Again, this one was $1. Black Panther #2 Campbell cover with Dr. Doom. Black Panther #3. This was also $1, not bag or boarded. This is a first appearance. Can't remember off the top of my head who it is, but Campbell cover, first appearance for $1. I will take it. And then the last book I picked up on Saturday was Black Panther #5. This is the first Shuri sort of in the Black Panther costume. Again, it was $1, not bagged or boarded. This is a pretty decent book, so very happy to find that cheap in the dollar bin. Yeah, that's all I picked up on Saturday. Saturday was very busy, but it wasn't bad by any means. I actually got some really good food at the food trucks on Saturday. Kevin Guerrero was actually the one who turned me onto it. He was out there ordering, and I sort of looked at it, and yeah, I had to get some food there. It was really good, some Puerto Rican food. Yeah, that's really all I did on Saturday. Had a blast, and yeah, I'll have a video for day 3 in the next day or two where I wrap up what I did. But yeah, all around great convention. Saturday was super, super good. All the sellers, vendors, exhibitors I had talked to seemed like they had a really good day selling on Saturday. So yeah, great convention. And yeah, stay tuned. Day 3 in the next day or two. Last stuff I picked up. So yeah, take care, everyone.